But right now, I'm pretty excited. After I get the cord to plug in the proper stuff here, it's quite a system we have going, folks. But we're going to talk to a gentleman who is residing down in Hollyweird, California. He was the guitar player for a band I was in for 8 years. Now, Bill wasn't in the band for 8 years, but he was in the band, Bloody Mess and the Scabs, and the band Sub 13, both Central Illinois punk staples. Bill MEISSNER, what's up, my brother?
Hey, Reverend Derek, how you doing?
Good.
Hello, Tracy.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
You're coming in loud and clear, brother.
Very cool. No, I'm glad to finally be on the show. Been a long time listener.
You know, you do. You tune in every single week. I can always count on at Sundays or Saturdays, Bill will send a text over saying, see you in church, like just to verify that it's happening. It's
and
like,
you know what? Just for the record, I've always wanted to be on the show. It's just I've worked every Sunday night for the past 10 years, and the show is always on when I'm at work. I'm like, oh, of course I'm going to get interrupted. So now that I'm not working, hey, there's no reason.
Oh, yeah, and also, just to be fair, I do remember you saying that every time, so I guess my memory sucks. But, yeah, that's right. You did.
No, you know, sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm there. I'm just glad to be here now.
And you like, be here now. Good one. You are a film cutter, huh? You splice like actual motion pictures, right?
Well, I work in the post industry. I'm in like the tape and film vault, so I take care of stuff in our post house. I work for the Deluxe company, so just post production related work in Hollywood. But yeah, they've been good to me. Been working for many years until now, but hopefully going back soon.
How long you been located down in Hollywood, man?
I think I moved here in 2000, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Chicago for like 8 years, and then I was back in Peoria for a couple years, and I just couldn't stay there. I had a friend out here, and so, just had nothing to keep me there, so I'm like, I'll try it out in an LA. So found a job and, stuck with it.
So do you play guitar these days?
Yeah, I do a little bit. I mean, unfortunately, I'm married to my job, so I don't get the chance to do as much as I can. But when I first moved out here, I was a little bit more looking for bands. Came really close to playing guitar with a girl, I think you know, Texas Terry. And I'm not sure where she's at Germany now or something, but she had a really cool band. I almost hooked up with her for a little while. But, I played with friends here and there, but nothing really substantial or anything.
Yeah, I remember when you were living in Chicago, a memory just flashed in my mind. I remember coming to Chicago to go see the band Fear with you and beautiful Bert and Dean Dirt from 1096. Oh. That was one hell of a party at your house afterwards.
That was a legendary night. I remember all of us going to White Castle at like 4 a.m, just like from a night of partying. It was just bedlam. Such a cool night. Was there something weird that happened at White Castle or something that was said? Yeah, I think Dean was asking for abortion burgers or something like that.
Oh, man.
Something really repulsive and unright, but, that was Dean.
We had a crazy crew we hung out with, man, and I'm not going to apologize either because, the people we were then are the people that have shaped us into the people we are now, for better or for worse, but there's no reason to apologize or even think about apologizing.
It is, and going back to the early days in Peoria, I mean, I think we're really lucky to have grown up in a town like Peoria because there was a little punk scene in Peoria for a little while, and it was real, all bands playing together, running out VFW halls and stuff like that. I remember seeing your first show as the SKABS, which was really influential to me. Scene and just having that scene there was really cool. It wasn't like a big city, Chicago, LA, where it was so fractured. There was a close scene and we all kind of knew each other, and it was really cool to be a part of a scene like that in a smaller, big little town.
Yeah, and you're referring to the first SKABS show, which was at the I2 Hall in Peoria. And then when did you join the SKABS after that? At one point, did you join that band?
Well, after Sub 13 broke up, and that was an early part because we played with you guys a few times, and that's how you and I, would start conversing more. So, I was watching you guys all the time, but, Sub 13, we had Dave Trantina, Tom Toomey, Chris Simpkins, who is listening tonight. Shout out to Chris.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
We were, watching you guys and, influenced by, if you guys could do it, we could do it. And then, it just became kind of a scene. And, I think you guys broke up for a little while, and there was kind of an in-between band with half of Sub 13 and half of the SKABS. And I don't know what was happening in between that time. My memory evades me. But then I think you started coming to practices, and I think that was in 97 or no, 93, something like that.
Yeah.
92?
Probably 92, yeah. 92.
Yeah, something around there.
Late 91 and early 92, I think.
Yeah. My memory, I get
I know.
times.
Mine's bad, too.
Sometimes. But yeah, I think it was around then, and, I think that fractured from, I think Chance Rush, shout out to Chance, he's in Florida. I think he moved to Florida, and you started coming into practices, and it just kind of like organically happened. I think there was a short time where Tom Toomey and you were trading off vocals for a while, but Tom was always in so much trouble with the police and getting himself arrested for various reasons. We just didn't want to deal with it. So I think you came back more into the fold, and started getting things happening again.
So you were only on one Bloody Mess in the SKABS record, and that was the empty 7-inch, and then also on the Hungover and Stoned album, right?
Yeah, I think I may have had one song on the Hungover and Stone, but yeah, mainly the empty 7-inch.
Well, what songs
it was only for a couple years, but I think after that I had moved to Chicago, but I was still coming back to Peoria every now and then to play shows.
What songs are you on the empty
when
record?
When we go to Springfield and New Kenosha and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, are you only on the empty song, or are there other songs that you played guitar on?
No, the whole empty 7-inch. I think there's like 4 or 5 songs on that.
Except for Voodoo Doll, which is on side B. I know that Charlie...
Yeah, exactly.
And
and a couple of those songs were holdovers from the Ugly Friends band before you came into the fold, but you, of course, did your own lyrics for the songs and changed them, but some of the music was the same.
Yeah, and those actually that 7-inch record, the empty record is in its entirety is on the Hungover and Stone CD as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, what are if you think about it, or just like quickly, like if you were to think back in your mind, what are one of the craziest memories you can remember from being in Bloody Mess in the SKABS?
Well, I mean, as well as I do, every show was a fence. There was always something, always. But I mean, as far as my memory serves, I mean, one of the standout shows was, I think, when we played at a skate park in Springfield, Illinois, and we had all went up there together in a van. And I think when we got there, the skate park told us there was a bar across the street that we could go get drinks at or whatever, and they'd pay for the bar bill or whatever. We could go over there. We went over there and spent the entire night in the bar playing pool, drinking all night. And I don't think we went over to the skate park to watch any of the other bands. They just came in and they were like, hey, you guys are going to be playing next. We were like, oh, okay. We went in there, had a completely drunken show, but a good show. But you were in rare form. You were insulting everyone in the crowd and getting everyone riled up. And it was like an intense show. And then when we got out, I think we ended up finding out that we ran up like a $400 bar bill across the street.
Yeah, and all the tires on our van were flat.
The show were ticked off that we didn't come over and watch any of the bands, and we spent the whole night drinking. We ran up a $400 bar bill. So they slashed all the tires on our van. So we were stuck there, and I think you ended up getting a ride home back to Peoria, but we ended up staying the night in Springfield, got a hotel and had to get all 4 tires changed in the morning.
Yeah, because my nose got broke. Like 4 guys broke my nose in a row. So there's no way I couldn't have stayed there because there was so much blood coming out of my face.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there was some girl there that knew you or something like that. So you're like, I got to hitch it back. And we were like, okay. So, that was like one, kind of standout thing. I don't know if you remember, like one of our last shows at that German American Hall in Peoria.
I got arrested.
There were a bunch of kids, and I think there was the German American Hall was serving underage kids alcohol because they were making all this money off of liquor sales, but they weren't checking IDs. A fight broke out. The cops came, and I think the show got shut down at the end. And I think it was in the Peoria paper the next day.
Oh, it was.
The hall got in trouble for serving kids, and I think it got shut down because of us, maybe.
Well, I had to go to court over that, man. I went to court with Steve Strait and Matt Shane from Dollface. We all got arrested and taken in for that, and I pleaded not guilty. Matt Shane from Dollface, however, showed up with a suit and tie on and was trying to play the game, and I showed up with my leather jacket. I was pretty buzzed. Right. I got, nice buzz on before I went to court, and I was like, no, I'm not pleading guilty to nothing. And Matt pled guilty, got a lawyer, played the game, and the judge charged him with everything because he pled guilty. I'm like, I'm not going to plead guilty. And so whatever the charges were, it escapes me now. And nothing against Matt, by the way. I'm just telling you what had happened. But anyway, that's what happened. Matt ended up getting some kind of charge because he pled guilty. And I was just like, no, I'm not guilty. But it was, that was a crazy show, dude.
Yeah, there was always something like that happening. Even with the Kenosha crew, whenever it was almost with 1096 and Bert and everything, we'd go up there and play. They'd come down here and play. It was always a thing like, who's going to play first? Because it was always like a race to see, okay, who's going to get the show shut down? Because there's a good chance any one of us are going to get the show shut down for some reason. So you want to play first if you want to play. I think that happened up in Kenosha, too.
It did.
I think we were all supposed to play, and we played, and the cops showed up, and no one could play after that. But that's how much of an intense band we were, and you were as a front man. That's bringing danger back into rock and roll. The shows were never dull. It was always an event. Good or bad, good times, bad times, It's all the same.
And dude, it's so funny. You were so young at the time, and I was a lot older than a lot of the people in my bands, and you had to literally hide from your parents because there were so many articles in the paper coming out about me all the time that were negative. You had to tell your parents you were in this other band so you could do gigs with me.
You're right. And, I almost tried to get it. I actually remember being in church with my family once when you were in the papers, and the minister actually name dropped you in one of the sermons.
What?
And I was trying to get a copy of the sermon on a tape or something, but I never got it.
Oh my God.
So you were in, Peoria culture. That was, people knew about it.
I don't even know what to say to that one, man. Wow.
Hey, all publicity is good publicity.
I remember one time me and Bill went to a party over in Peoria Heights, and there was about 30 or 40 people coming in and out. It was a nice party. People were jamming in different rooms and outside, and there was music playing. Me and Bill were on LSD and we were laughing, and we decided, let's just get naked and sit in the living room, and when people walk in, we'll just be 2 guys acting completely normal, but totally naked. And we did that, and we sat there for hours, and everyone was completely either embarrassed, shocked, laughing, leaving. People were tripping so bad on us.
That's a story I never heard, and I probably could have went the rest of my life without ever having heard that story.
Yeah. Well, you should have been there when we had to clean out all of Derek's apartment because it was infested with fleas.
Oh my God.
And
I had a punk rock
put
house.
Everything out on the front lawn. and move everything out there and fumigate everything. You were like, oh my God, there's fleas on me.
I was laying in bed one night reading my Aleister Crowley biography, the one that was making me have nightmares for like a month. And all of a sudden I'm scratching and itching and I see little black things and I'm realizing, oh no, there's fleas everywhere because I had just adopted this little cat, the only cat I've ever owned, by the way. And I named it Stiv after the Dead Boy singer. And I only had that cat for a few months, but it put me through hell. Those fleas were a nightmare.
Oh man, hilarious.
Too funny.
And also, the song Empty is the song that the Scabs are really known for. Or Bloody Mess and the Scabs are really known for the song Empty. I've been doing gigs for 37 years, and the last 10, 15 years, I've been pretty active across the country touring, and we always end every show with the song Empty. And I just want to state for the record that Bill, that was the first song he had ever written for the Scabs, and I remember vividly, none of this I don't remember stuff, I remember vividly you saying, hey man, I got this riff that I wrote, it's my first one for the band as the Scabs, and it was so good, it was like dun 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 dun, very haunting. So Bill, just for the record, you are the guy that did write that, and I wrote the lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a simple riff. You know, I think the difference is I had an amp that had like a built-in distortion pedal that I thought was cool, and that's why the guitars go from clean to distorted, because my amp could do that, and I had just learned how to like mute, you know, chords as I'm playing them and stuff like that. So I vividly remember that too. And I vividly remember that being because there was that confusion in between the Ugly Friends and the Scabs and the kind of carryover. That was the first song that all of us, you know, started, our first original song, which you wrote the lyrics for and I wrote the music for.
Yeah.
So that was, you and I remember it that way because that was the first song that we wrote together.
Well, Black and Blue Records contacted me like a year ago or whatever, and it's under the bridge now, but I'm still pissed about it. But they called me and said, hey, we're going to put Empty on the 30th anniversary box set, but we can't because another ex-member is disputing, he's saying he wrote the music. And dude, I'm like, are you kidding? So the song we're most known for, they're going to use a live version of it because they're afraid to use the studio, which is twice as much makes me mad because really, you don't believe me? You're calling me a liar. You're calling me a liar too. You know, it's like, okay,
well,
so, whatever.
The person making those accusations, I think when that all came up, didn't think, because there was a good 10, 12-year period where you and I had lost contact with each other, right, when I had moved out here.
Yeah.
And it was probably during that time, and he probably thought that I was off the face of the earth, never to be heard of again.
I think so.
Not knowing that I would come back later and hear about this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's part of it, or maybe his memory is flawed because of the confusion in between the two different bands, and maybe whatever it was, he's wrong.
Yeah, there could be a chance he actually does think he wrote it, but I get you there because my memory is pretty tricky. There's times where I argue with people, man, and then I find out later I was dead wrong. So we'll say there's a chance that he's not trying to be a wanker, but most likely he is, but who knows?
Yeah, you know, the thing is, I vividly remember it, and there's things about the song in the riff that I can remember why I did it, and I wouldn't be able to remember those things. You know, I wouldn't just come up with these things in my brain.
How long was?
You know, I vividly remember it.
How long was Sub 13 a band?
Sub 13 was a band probably for like 3 years. I think we started maybe in like 87. 88, something like that.
Well, look, man, I know I sent you the demo, the only demo, and it's not very good quality and everything, but I sent that to you when I found it because I wanted you to have it. But if you could somehow send that to our YouTube manager up in Wisconsin, I could get that put on our YouTube channel, and then I could have him send it back to you.
That.
Yeah, I'm
going to do that once this virus thing kind of gets more, which it sounds like. Hopefully, in a few weeks, maybe I'll get it out there because I want to make that happen.
Yeah, because
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, Rick's listening right now, and he'd get that back to you in the mail within a week, dude. So thank you for down the road doing that. Also, kind of running out of time. It's unfortunately I don't have a talk show, I have a music show, and we've got like a 20-minute allotment usually. So wanted to say thanks a million for making the time, dude, to come on and rap, and we can always.
Oh man, my pleasure.
We can always do a part 2 too down the road if you want to. There's no reason we couldn't.
Most definitely.
There's a lot of stories I'd like to talk about that we'll touch on next time, but it was a fun chat, and we did definitely touch on a couple things that were fun to mention.
Yes,
there's still, we got to talk about the barn, the McClure Punk House, other stuff.
The Club Peorian,
tons more to talk to.
Club Peorian.
Yeah, the Club Peorian, Brittany, all these things.
Okay. You guys just better check on the statute of limitations before you go talking about all this stuff.
There are a few of those things that we got to check on.
I think I might sue myself. Just because I'm such a jerk.
The blow-up doll was only 12 years old.
All right, man. It's Bill Meissner, ex-Bloody Mess and the Scabs guitarist, ex-Sub-13 from Holly Weird. Dude, thanks for making the time. We love you, man.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Love you, too. Good talking to you. See you, Tracy.
Yep, you take care.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the show, Bill. We'll talk to you soon, dude.
For sure.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it. Bill Meissner, Bloody Mess and the Scabs. Why don't we play a song right now that Bill's known for, that Bill wrote, and that it's probably one of the more known songs from the Scabs. And the song is called Empty, recorded in 1992 out at Wooden Nickel. I believe it was recorded at Wooden Nickel. It could be wrong, but I think it was.
And this is the original recording, right?
This is. My band, The Vanes, went in and re-recorded it, and I will say I like the Scabs version the best. Nothing against the Vanes, but I like the original the best. And this is Bill Meissner on lead guitar, and me on the vocals right here at the Church of Rock and KSKQ. It's Empty by Bloody Mess and the Scabs.